Recruiter here, the Headless Headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume up first is a full-stack software developer in Germany. While I am not a recruiter in the EU, I will say that based on what I was able to find, these qualifications are like 95% similar to what we would want in the United States. There is like one or two slight differences, like I think Kubernetes was slightly more impactful. Typically they would want Java instead of Python, but again, they're mostly the same. So this person stated that they dropped out of their master's and joined a company, which is why there is no masters are studied during 2024. But you were doing student jobs during that time as a software developer. This person has over 150 applications to a single interview, which is horrible. That is basically a failure state of your resume. That is how you can tell if your resume is good. If you are getting about 1 in 10, 1 in 20 for most jobs, fantastic resume. Probably don't need to change anything. If you're getting 50 to 1, it's passes but barely, and there are things you can do to fix it. And if you're getting over 150, it's horrible. So this is going to be a horrible resume, and I did review it in a meter yeet, and yeah, it wasn't very good. So let's show you all how to fix this as a full stack developer, which again, mostly the same qualifications. So what we're looking for in Germany is TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Java, Spring Boot, Kubernetes, Python, Django, Docker, and in this case, you need either the Java stack or the Python stack. It should be or. You don't, here, I'll put this up here. You don't actually need all of those together, just one of those. But you do need Node, Angular, Next.js, SQL, React. React is huge there. I don't know why, but it's massive. Almost every single job stated React. APIs, RESTful APIs, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functionally, and bonus points for architectures, any extra languages, Git, and PHP. They were asking for PHP. So, first off, this formatting, I think people are going to expect me to say it is awful and the worst ever, and it's not good, but you could do a lot worse. So yes, I think you should use this formatting. On my website, I show you how to do it. Here is a quick, brief view of it, but it's actually not the worst. It's not good. Everything here should be black and white. This should not have an underline in between it. This should not have an underline in between it. You probably should not have your picture. I assume you replaced your picture with the anonymous trolls or whatever they're called. And there's the font on this is slightly off. But overall, again, it's not a... Sometimes I can tell if it's a formatting issue with the resume or based on the bullet points. And this one is a bullet point. So here's what they do right. Architected, great. Spring Boot, great. SQL, good. React, good. TypeScript. API, awesome. AWS, also great. Then you lose me here where there's basically nothing but one TypeScript. So this is the problem with this resume. It just does not tell me enough, and you kind of focus the stuff weirdly. Like, you need, if you're doing full stack, to say, architected a scalable SaaS full stack platform using, and then I would just put TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and React. Or in this case, React, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. Because React is huge. Almost every single job said React, and it was up front. So you should probably start with React. And then the rest of this sentence is okay. And then we do build a cloud native. You don't see, this is too much, right? It's good that you state AWS, but you want to be able to put, especially for a software engineer, multiple qualifications in the same sentence. And this one only has AWS and EC2. I need more. I want to see built scalable services on AWS EC2, along with SQL or that kind of stuff. You can put in SQL there, but yeah, and then here I don't really care about Kafka and RabbitMQ. Nothing here I need. Data retrieval, Redis, again, probably don't need anything here. React is good, but again, it's all the way down here, and you already mentioned it here. You don't want to mention the same qualification in the same job. What is good is to put React here and React all the way down here. That's good, because that shows you have 3 years of experience with it. But you don't need to put React here and then React down here. Django is good, but again, they may not miss it. Or they may miss it. So your big problem is just there's so much fluff here that the people reading your resume may miss what they need. Because, again, this is a solid first sentence despite the changes I wanted. This, it's mid. We need more. And then you have basically nothing until you go down to maybe Django APIs, because again, you already stated React up top. Then I don't need ETL. I don't need Apache Spark. Docker is great, but again, they may miss it because it's the only thing here. And then nothing here, and then Agile is good. So you have essentially 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bullet points with only about like 4 or 5 of them being relevant, having the qualifications that I would need. This was so long, and it did not find enough stuff in the 20 seconds I had that I could not even get down to here. So you need to simplify this. You do need to fix the resume formatting a little bit, and please remove your face. Maybe it's different in Germany. Maybe in Germany you're supposed to have your face, but I've reviewed a couple of other resumes for Germany, and I don't think that is the case. You should remove your face. But yeah, you just don't have enough, and that's the biggest thing. Is it's spread out over too many bullet points. You need to compact them. You need to make sure that they are basically very clear and concise. So that is your big issue of why you're having that. In addition, in the U.S. at least, this is a part where my knowledge may not transfer, because again, I am a U.S. recruiter. I've not recruited in Germany. Is I don't know if you need to put the visa status of valid work permit, because I don't know how Germany does that. To my understanding, in the U.S., you do want to state like how they can work with your visa, because there are different types of visa. And in most companies, in the U.S. at least, do not ever want to see open to relocation. Open to relocation is a gigantic red flag to a lot of managers, because the amount of times we have had open to relo candidates get ready to relo and then they decide not to, they bail. In fact, if you are open to relocating, that is one of the very few times you actually want a summary that just states you are moving to X area by Y date sooner if needed. So that's my big problem with this, is minor formatting issues, but your bullet points are too broad, don't have enough content in them, and your open to relo is a giant, you know what, I'm going to take that back. It's a yellow flag. It is a giant yellow flag, not a red flag, but it's still a giant yellow flag. You don't want to put open to relo. It's always going to end poorly. So if anybody ever needs more help, you can join me on my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. If I look like I am exhausted, it is because I am. I came back from a bachelorette party weekend with my wife. We had a joint one. It was a good time. I am very tired. I have a headache, but I am still here to review your resumes. So if I seem extra unenthused, that is why. I had a very good time over the weekend. Now, let's go to the next resume. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out, and I will learn how to pivot to the next resume one day. This is a resume review of a software engineer. What kind of software engineer, you ask? Well, I have no idea. When you submit a software engineer resume to me, in fact, when you submit any resume to me, regardless of whether or not you're a software engineer, you're an accountant, or whatever, I need to be able to find the specific niche in your job. In this case, the first resume said they were full stack. That was perfect. That gave me enough information I need. This resume tells me absolutely nothing, because they just say software engineer. Cool. You know the differences between a full stack and a front end and a back end Java and a back end Python and a back end .NET? Massive. They're all going to look for different qualifications. So if you put in software engineer, I hate to say it, I can't really give you good advice because I don't know what you are. So let's find out if I can figure out what kind of engineer you are in 20 seconds. Can I? Probably not. Let's start this up here. This person also stated they are applying but not landing any interviews. Yeah, because you did not specify. I'm trying to find out where I'm going wrong to improve. I'm fairly certain, again, it is that you did not tell me what kind of engineer you are, because, again, they are all different. So, starting the clock. Again, this is okay. This can be deleted. Tells me nothing. This tells me nothing. This tells me nothing. Can't use this because you don't tell me how to do it. It's practically worthless. This tells me nothing but UI, UX, and APIs and SQL, which those aren't good. And this tells me absolutely nothing. So your entire resume from here to here might as well not exist because there is nothing in this that I can use. I just can't. Guess what? Redis, React, and SQL is not what I could use. I assume this is front end, so maybe this is front end. And if it is front end, well, this will be the stack that I'm looking for. Right here. Give me a second to pull it up. My very loud keyboard that I will need to change. This is what I'd be looking for. I don't see that. Because again, you cannot put this here. It is invisible. It does not count. You need to put it here. This is why skill sections don't count. I need to see you put it here. Guess what? I don't care that you increased website performance by 35%. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for implementing lazy loading and eliminating redundant API calls. I'm not looking for strengthened backend by Redis caching. SQL I am. API I am. The rest of this I'm not. Your resume is almost entirely blank. In addition, you doxed yourself, which is why I cannot scroll past this section, and you stated open to relocation. Guess what again? Open to relo is a giant yellow flag. Massively reduces your chances of getting an interview. You never want to put open to relo. So where is the JavaScript if you're a front end? Again, can't put it here. Have to show me how you used it. Where is the React? Where is the Angular? Where is the HTML, the CSS, the PHP? The SQL I did find, so that is good. Scrum Agile. Where's the RESTful API specifically? Where is the SEO? Where is the Git, the Docker, the Jira, the Node, the Vue, the Next? Or maybe you're not a front-end dev. Maybe you're a Python dev. I don't know, because this says MERN. Maybe you, in fact, are a Python dev. Guess what? That would require an entirely different list of qualifications that I would be looking for. So I'm going to pull that up real quick and then see if you can find them maybe in 20 seconds. But this is your problem. The fact is the recruiter does not know what you are. They are going to assume you are the wrong fit unless you are very, 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 very specific with your resume. So this is Python. Where is the Python? Still don't see it. SQL I did. Where's the Docker, the Cloud, the RESTful APIs, the Agile, the Git, the CI/CD? Where's the rest of the full stack or the DevOps or the AI? Where's the Kubernetes or the ETL or another language? Again, you do not tell me. And because you did not tell me and you did not show me how you used it in a how you did it in the reason and result format, I can't move you forward. So this can be deleted. This can be deleted. This can be deleted. This can be deleted. They need to be in here or it does not count. That is the rule. I do not make the rule, unfortunately, but I do have to follow it or else I could get laid off. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a mobile applications developer, which I could not find because that was too broad of a job title. To my understanding, I believe this is actually going to just be called a mobile software engineer. So for a mobile software engineer, which again, quotation marks if that's the actual name, what we're looking for is React or React Native. That was in like every single job description. Then I want to see iOS and some of the stuff for it, along with Android and some of the stuff for it, such as Java and Kotlin. MVVM was in a bunch, Flutter was in a bunch, Agile was in a bunch, JavaScript and TypeScript were in a few, RESTful APIs, Redux, GraphQL. Working in a collaborative environment, normally a lot of software engineer roles don't actually say the teamwork thing, but in this case, like almost every single one said working with other people, so you should actually have a bullet point about like how you can work with other people. Then if the language you're coding in is C#, it will be MAUI or Xamarin. But again, if you're not doing those particular jobs, you can actually ignore that bullet point. And Next.js, which was in a few job descriptions. I don't know why, but it was in them. And then bonuses are SDK, Play Store, App Store, and probably a little more. But if you have these, you should be able to at least secure an interview easier. So, let's see if I can find these in 20 seconds. And give me a second because I actually have to look at this because I've not done mobile dev in a very, very, very long time. Okay, and go. Where's your education? Maybe you have that higher up when I missed it. ETL.NET, C, maybe C, SQL is okay. Data scientist, what? Did I get the right resume? Hold on. Did I even get the right resume for this one? Let me check out. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. Maybe it's the fact that I haven't looked at a ton of C, but yeah, this person does not have like anything here. They just state new to mobile application development. So here's the problem: is this is why you need to tell me specifically? Is I don't know if this is too broad or not. Mobile application development may just be too broad of a title to find, and that's why I had to move it to mobile software engineer. But maybe this is a niche inside of that. So I don't actually know. But I did not see basically any of these qualifications. So I don't really know what to do with this. You told me mobile application developer. This was the closest thing I could find, and I don't see any of that at all. There's just nothing here. This makes me seem like I am looking at the wrong resume, and you did not mean to apply for this role. So if this is a mobile software engineer, that is a huge problem. If this is not a mobile software engineer, you need to be much more specific about what you're looking for so I can help you. So in the comments below, please let me know that just so I can understand, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a business analyst. This is their third or fourth time submitting, and their previous resumes I think were close to like 300 or 200 to 1, and which is not good, and I think we've brought it now down to 50 to 100 to 1, but we need to do it a little bit more. So I'm expecting this resume for this business analyst to be good, but we're still missing some things that, if given, would up their chances. To my understanding, I think they are international, which does tank their chances, unfortunately, but what we're going to be looking for is SQL, Tableau, Power BI, and industry. Industry is going to have some specific qualifications that I am not going to be able to find simply because I cannot be in every industry. As an example, on August 22nd, the video I posted was another data analyst or business analyst, which are different, and the industry they had qualifications for healthcare. I missed some of those in this list. Ideally, my goal is to have you all learn how to make these yourselves, and yours should be more accurate than mine because I cannot be in every single industry. So that is, I just wanted to put that caveat. Then I need Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, Outlook, Excel, Word, Jira, SAP, all that good stuff. Requirement gathering and documentation, cross-functional from IC to stakeholders and managers, explaining complex topics to non-technical people. That is huge. That is massive. That is like, I know that's farther down in the list, but the order of importance of these qualifications is not always in list format. But we really need to see you explain complex topics to non-tech people. Meet multiple deadlines concurrently, Agile, Scrum, Waterfall. So again, I have a tiredness, and let's redo this and see if I can find it in 20 seconds. So Python, solid, I think. SQL, good. For cross-functional project, create a detailed process map, good. Visio and Confluence, again, I don't know if I need that as much. MS Office, PowerPoint, here's a different bunch of products. I'm going to give them a little more time because my brain is not working today. Assassin, Excel, Analyst, created executive reports and Power BI dashboards. Okay, it's not bad, but it's not great, and we need to improve it. So they are in chat right now, and I will work with them to improve it. But I think off the top of my head, one, you don't want these underlines in between it. You do not want them. That's a minor issue. A more serious issue, I would say, is I don't know for a business analyst that you want to start off with Python, Pandas, and NumPy. I don't know if they care about that much. I think it's okay to have as a bonus because a lot of this stuff is sort of interrelated to that, but I don't know if you really want to start off with it. SQL is great, but you don't tell me what CRM is. I'm going to base on my knowledge, believe this is customer relationship management, so that is customer relationship management sales data, but I don't know how that is applicable for this because from my list, I did not see CRM. I think it might be okay to have, but again, is it good for the first sentence? I don't know. Second, Why was it important that you identified this stuff? You don't really tell me. So, as an example, saying identify demand patterns for efficient inventory planning, which allowed our stakeholders to do X or Y, right? Like, I don't know why this is important. Then here, which I actually really like, managed for, that's good. Tell me how much. Cross-functional projects as sales subject matter expert. Good. Creating detailed process maps via MS Visio. MS Visio could be one. And gathering requirements through Confluence. Again, Confluence may be one as well. Meeting 100% of my deadlines. And you don't even need to say 100%. Just say meeting all deadlines. That is good. Again, though, I don't fully know what you do as much. Excuse me. Then we go to here, which is utilize SAS. Again, maybe this is something they want that I missed. And Excel, good, resulting in a 15% sales increase. So these are mid sentences, right? I don't think they're bad. I don't want you to think these are garbage, but they are a little mid in what we're looking for. There is a little bit of extraneous information, and in that we can't find as much as what we need. Again, not bad, but could be better. So I think we need to sort of go back and rephrase some of these. Like, this is great, coordinated with managers. In this point, you could say, like, stakeholders, right? Stakeholders and managers. Managers is fine. Using Agile and Scrum. You want to put and, not just slash. I know I put slash, but I'm starting to not do that because people are getting confused. So, using Agile and Scrum methodologies in Jira to track progress and ensure successful project completion across 8 concurrent initiatives. So, this is great. I love this. This is fantastic, right? Like, this is... honestly could be your first sentence or something. Problem is, it's all the way at the bottom. The other one is, and this is a bit of an issue, is I don't see how you explain complex topics to non-technical people. I think you assume that being the subject matter expert, which is good, it's good to put that, also qualifies as complex topics, which it does, but it doesn't show you explain them, right? Like, you can say manage 4 cross-functional projects as the sales subject matter expert, where I taught, complex sales data to managers or whatever. So I am missing from this complex topics to non-technical people. I am missing, I think you did this, requirements gathering. I'm not sure. I'm missing Tableau and Power BI probably. Again, and yeah, that's kind of all I'm missing. Again, this is why it's not bad. I don't want to say this is bad. This is working. It's getting you some interviews, but I think it could be better. So I'm being extra picky each iteration of this. Like the first iteration, whatever, we got to make it good first. Then the second one, I'm going to be more picky and more picky. So I think it's just you need to rephrase some of these and maybe reduce some irrelevant information. But we do need, and I think this is really critical, is explaining complex topics to non-technical people. So, which you kind of almost fail at because some of this stuff is not easily understandable. But again, not bad. We can make it better, which I'm going to do after this section of the resume because they're in chat. So let's go help you out right now. This is a resume of a audit associate entry level. I have never actually recruited for this role, but the qualifications were not that difficult to find. It's really just this, that you need a degree or you need to be, and working towards a CPA is big. MS Office Suite, particularly Excel. I am aware Excel is a part of MS Office Suite, but showing that you can do advanced Excel like pivot tables and VLOOKUP, massive. Auditing, accounting, and financial service experience. Again, they just want to see that you've done some of those. That you can explain complex technical information to non-technical clients, also huge. That you can work cross-functional, multitask. Here, we're going to put this in the same line. Multitask and meet deadlines. And a bonus is security clearance. Again, not everyone asks for that, but if you're working for things that, require it, it is nice to have. So this person stated they graduated this June and they are now CPA eligible. However, I have been rejected by almost all companies because I lack work experience. That is probably true on two things. I do know that even though I have not done an accounting role in a while, the difference between having a CPA and not having a CPA is night and day. It's very, very much like if you're an accountant or accountant adjacent and you do not have a CPA, you are in for a very rough time. But if you do have a CPA, companies will be falling over themselves trying to get you to join them. So there is a massive, massive difference between having a CPA and not having one. Currently, I only BDO, I don't know what that has given you an interview, but was rejected after the first round. In addition to audit associate, I'm looking for positions as a staff accountant and tax associate, as there are more openings and you can do that option. Since I have no work-related experience in tax and only one tax-related project in class, I'm unsure what to include in my resume. So I don't know this person's ratio because they put 1 to 25s, and maybe that's right, and they've only applied to 25 jobs, in which case you need to apply to more because that is your problem. But yeah, let's take a look at this. I do know it's going to suck because they don't have a CPA, and CPA, it's so different having a CPA not. So let's see. Can I find this in 20 seconds? Let's find out. And go. All right. Good. CPA eligible. Good. YOY. Don't need that. Audit field work. Audit is good. Gap is solid, but not for this particular role. Excel functions is okay. Conducted an audit. Again, audit is good. Flags. And that's all I found. So, this is not quite enough what I need. I don't think it's bad. First off, your formatting is bad, though. You want to make it look like this. Second off, it looks like you may be international, and as an international student, your ratio is just going to be worse. If somebody with a U.S. citizenship required 1 in 10 applications to get, if they required 10 applications to get an interview, well, you may require 30. Because it's just rougher. That's just unfortunately the case. This, on the other hand, should be 1 line. This, on the other hand, should also be 1 line. It should not be bolded. And then this, none of this should be bolded. None of this should be bolded. There should not be an underline under this either. You need to make it look like this. I swear, this is how you want resumes to look. This is how to do it here. It doesn't have to be 1 line, but this is how you make it correct. All right? This looks so good to recruiters, I swear to you. But part of the problem is I don't have enough to move you forward. So here is a bit of an issue of you are trying to apply for an audit associate and a staff accountant. And for a staff accountant role, I don't have that off the top of my head, but I believe gap is something they would want, but not necessarily what they would want for an audit associate. And I did like that you had, where is this? Central Bank? Okay, yeah, this has almost nothing we want. This is a big problem right here, is this has almost nothing I want. Advanced Excel is good. That is something I want, but everything else I don't think I need. Yeah, there's nothing else here that I need besides audit document. But if you notice, I have to get all the way through here before I find the first thing I want, which is audit document and Excel. But you also don't tell me the advanced Excel functions. So it's probable they're going to miss that because this is the only thing I really need and the audit functions. Then we go to here. Again, I don't know how this is necessarily needed. This happens with a lot of very smart people, is your job is, okay, let me rephrase this. I'm still tired, but your goal is to find out flaws in the audit process, present them to people, and get them fixed. And you have just spent, I'm going to assume since you have a master's, probably the last 4 to 5 years doing that. And you have been surrounded by other people that know that. The problem is, once you get to the workplace, they don't care how you did it. Right? You're focused on simulated fraud risk case, identifying red flags, audit interviews, professional skepticism. But when you get to work in your first job, they don't care about that. They care that you do it correctly, but they don't really care how you do it. As an example, as a recruiter, there are multiple ways to get candidates for a role that is having difficulty hiring. You can do active sourcing. You can fix the job description. You could dig through multiple things with a complex Boolean search. The problem is when you get to somebody who is not a recruiter, they don't care about that. All they care about is that you can find the right candidate. And that's the problem in this, is you are telling me how you went about finding the information to fix the problem, when what I care about is just that you fix the problem. So it is good that you mentioned Excel, but like, I don't know what cutoff classification uncured liabilities is, or why that's relevant. I don't know why PCOB standards is. This one actually isn't bad. I now fully read this one is not bad. Although you should also, the very first time you state this, put generally accepted accounting principles. I always forget what GAAP stands for exactly. And then put in parentheses GAAP, and then you can use GAAP for the rest of it. But yeah, you told me how you solved the complex math problem when I don't really care how you did that. I just care that you solved it and you didn't show me how. So this is part of the problem, is you fill it with unnecessary information. It's hard to read what I need, and I may not be able to find it. In addition, I need to know how you can explain complex technical information to clients and customers and whoever else you're working for. Because if you go up to a client and you say, I performed a .com double analysis by switching the hyperbole so that we could find the extract information, guess what? They're not going to know what that means, and they're not going to care. What you have to do is instead say, hey, I made this pretty pie chart. This shows you how to save money, and they're going to thank you for it. That's what I need. So this is a big problem with this resume, and it also happens with a lot of highly smart master's candidates as well for other industries, as you assume that because you spent the last 4 to 5 years that this is common basic knowledge, but it's not. And if you are hired as a entry-level audit associate and they don't know what an audit associate really does because this is their first audit associate, you're going to have to explain that. So that's all I can do for this resume. Basically, it's too complex. You need to simplify it. You need to make sure you focus on these qualifications, and you need to fix the formatting. But before we end this video, I just want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST to whenever. It depends on my workload at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter, and I will see you in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.